Greetings, my friends. I'm Andrea, astrologer, and today I would like to talk, as promised, about another event which happens in March. It's really a series of astrological major powerful events, and this is the transit of Neptune, an outer planet with a cycle of 165 years approximately across the zodiac, so to traverse the whole zodiac into the tropical Aries. I talk about the tropical. In sidereal, we do not have a transit. This is important to take into account. And I would like to talk about the following themes for Neptune. Significance of Neptune. Then I would like to go a bit into the history. And then I would like to really give a forecast for Bitcoin, of course, because we want to talk about the financial markets and to outline some possible scenarios, what can really change. But I think it will stay on track, so to speak, no major influence for Bitcoin. But nevertheless, we will have some change in energy that I would like to mention. So stay tuned for this and let's dive into it. First of all, Neptune is about our dreams, our hopes, our wishes. It's about our capacity of putting something into reality from our mind, from our wishes, from our deepest truth. It is also about empathy. It's about artistic ability and talent. It's about inspiration. It is linked to yoga as well and to perception in general. And nevertheless, it's really deeply linked to the human psyche. At a large scale, we do have also most probably the lower manifestations, because some humans are, so to speak, more evolved as a soul, especially with Neptune. It's about the soul, and it's about that piece of energy inside us. So it's not really in a religious manner, but it's about a spiritual dimension of it. And from the Trimurti, so from the three forces of the universe, and we have the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer, Neptune is associated with Lord Vishnu, the preserver. So it's about a subtle influence that really keeps us on track, and it's about the psyche. As I mentioned, in case of large-scale human psychology, in case of the masses of mundane astrology, usually such outer planets with cycles that are very long, which are beyond the human lifespan, would really involve a lower manifestation. And in this case, Neptune is about our capacity to be delusioned, to be disappointed. So it's about the possibility to be scammed, to be cheated, and it is in general an energy that would really demand a lot. So it's like expectations that are pretty high, but in general we don't receive them most of the time. And this was especially the case with Pisces, because in Pisces, in the tropical, but now it's still ongoing in the sidereal zodiac, we do have Neptune at home. So it's a very, very powerful and creative Neptune, good for artistic ability and so on. But it is nevertheless linked to the fact that we had really disappointments in terms of people pretending to be someone else. For example, you might have this in your circle, in your personal life, but in general this happened at a large scale, and especially if we talk about crypto, so a lot of people pretending they do something, they help people, but in the end it was a scam, even if we talk about large scale exchanges, and I think you can relate to stories from previous years. Now Pisces is linked, and this is still valid from a perspective of the the sidereal astrology, it's linked also to medicine and to health, to hospitals. And if you think about Neptune there, Neptune really gave another face to medicine. First of all, we had, the pandemic, which was a sort of crisis, and it is really something that was shown that, okay, there are multiple ways to heal. It's not only, the classical medicine. It was also an opening towards natural medicine, Ayurveda in Indian culture, and other alternative methods in terms of health. And it is a crisis, actually, even now in Europe, in hospitals, with the lack of qualified staff, and it is a tough job. So it was pretty a lot of disillusionment at this level. And Pisces is linked also to immigration, for example. So a lot of countries opened their doors, so to speak, and then some surprises came in. But this is also somehow put in balance with Saturn entering Pisces, and this will happen also in the sidereal zodiac. So we already see, at least in Europe, and I think also internationally, US and other parts of the world, that would really be more strict in regards to immigration, because Neptune dissolves borders. It's about this dreamy state. I tap into the dream and I bring it into reality. We are all actors in the dream of Vishnu. So this is the whole story, so to speak, of Neptune that would project and enable that. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So this means that from a tropical perspective, we got the 165 years roughly. I say roughly because Neptune goes retrograde several months in a year. So this means that the speed will be much slower. So it depends, because the speed is not the same in every sign. In each and every sign we have an average speed, but of course each sign is different. Pisces is a slow sign. It's about the ocean, the rhythm of the ocean, the unbound, the infinite. But if we talk about Aries in the tropical zodiac, Aries is the contrary. It's about speed. It's about things happening fast. It's not about much illusion, because maybe in the next years we will not even dream too much, so to speak, or we will dream really very next to what is available in the sign of Aries, because Aries is associated to courage. It's entrepreneurship, is also selfishness. So we won't have this empathy and generosity and charity towards others, which is brought by Pisces, but rather it's a self-orientation towards our own person, our own well-being, and also our own businesses, I would say. Now, in general, Aries represents also mechanical ability. So Neptune there can really disrupt, so really inspire a lot of innovation in mechanics, a lot of innovation in areas connected to transportation as well, because it's linked to Aries in a way. Of course, the energy is not fully developed, but I think a lot of innovation will happen there. It's about the way we experience also conflict, war, and situations of emergency. Military aspects of human life might be dissolved and brought to the surface what problems are here currently, and then really reshaped to the next level, but in a very subtle way. So the changes will take slower, but since it's Aries, it will be really at speed when compared to the last years, while we had this Neptune in tropical Pisces. And now I would like to give you also some dates when this really happens, because we talk about it, but it won't be super stable this year. It's a year of transition, 2025, in many regards, and this is a big shift in the society, I would say, and also walk a bit the history lane and tell you what happened in the past and when, so that you have an idea how rare the event is, when Neptune last time transited the tropical sign of Aries. So let's explore this. Let's walk on the history lane and to reveal our memories from other lifetimes with Neptune. And the last time when we had this ingress, so the planet entering the sign, which is Aries, it was in 1861. And how is this year remembered in history? Of course, many other things happened, but what we remember is the civil war in the USA, which was started really at the ingress. It was the month of April at that time. And this is really linked to the energy of Mars, which is with the significance of military, about the war, the army. It's about conflict and violence. It's about fighting. So it's this strong energy that is there, and Neptune would really bring a crisis, but it's much more subtle than in the case of Pluto. Pluto would disrupt the situation and would really kill it, and it would build it again from the ground up, so from scratch. And this is really the energy of the destroyer in the Trimurti. And Neptune, on the other hand, is the preserver. So we shake things, but we preserve things, the status quo somehow. And we won't really destroy and then rebuild from scratch, but we rebuild as we go through. Imagine a car really going and we replace some things, even parts of the engine. So this is the way we can imagine this transition of Neptune in Aries. Do I say that we will have another war? Not really, not necessarily. And I will tell you also the differences between those times. And it is really another era and so on. But we need to take also the other planetary positions in our consideration. And at that moment in time, besides the war, so first of all, as a consequence to the war situation, a lot of innovation has been delivered at that time because of the civil war. Weapons, also in chemistry, the discovery of thallium, and I also mentioned the fact that we might have mechanical innovation that is really linked to another area of our lives. Maybe we will get to Mars in this time frame. We will talk about dates in a moment, and it is something that happened at that time, which is similar sort of. It was very innovative, but it's a kind of transportation. You see now, if we think about the space, that Mars would be pretty in line because it's the rule of Aries, and we have already projects and companies really handling that. We know that. And at that time it was really the patent for the elevator brakes in 1861, which was filed by Otis. So you heard of Otis. It is really, at that time, it was very innovative in buildings to have this. So it was like at this level, it is inward, so to speak, inward movement. Now we think about the space radar. And this is really the main thing that happened. Main things, actually, many more. You can search that. And the main differences between that period of time and what happens now is the position of the outer planets. I look at them. Of course, many others were in other positions, but I look at Uranus and at Pluto, because Pluto is the destroyer in the Trimurti and Uranus is the creator associated with Lord Brahma. So all the existence would go through these dynamics. And at that moment in time, we had really one link, and this is Uranus, because Uranus will have this ingress, the first ingress into Gemini in summer, in June. This will happen June or July, I think. This will happen really for the first time, and then it will retrograde back into the tropical Taurus. It will go again into Gemini. So at that time, it was in Gemini, this Uranus. And we had the major difference with Pluto, which brings this destruction, that it was in Taurus. Taurus in 1861 when the Civil War occurred in the States. And this sign is connected to land. Taurus is the earth sign which is fixed. So it's a very fixed energy, and it's about the land, really having this love for the land and fighting for it. So it's a very material and really, I would say, very strong and concentrated energy. On the other way around, now we do have Pluto in Aquarius. It entered Aquarius fully in November 2024. I talk about the tropical, of course, and we do have it now stable until 2044 in Aquarius. So it's a very long-term transit that we can see what are the consequences for it. So it's a humanistic sign, so it's oriented towards people, the hoi polloi rather, not the government or the elite. So it's really going there in a sort of crisis, so to speak, and then it will be reconstructed. And Aquarius is linked to spatial travel. It's linked also to aviation. So we saw some things this year with the various companies, with the Boeings failing and so on. So such things will continue to happen, possibly also in the space. And it's not such good news because it is a complicated scenario, but I think we will have to deal with this in the upcoming years. And then we can say that these are very various and varied aspects of the whole combination. So in this case, we have Neptune and Uranus, which are common now in 2025, and in 1861 they were really, the difference is Pluto actually, which was very material, down to earth. Now I think we will have a sort of war, but it would be rather at intelligence level. It's about the genius, it's about decentralized systems, cybersecurity maybe. So it will be maybe war in the internet, something regarding that. This is also not good, but at least human life would be preserved in a way, because this Aquarius, the fact that we have Pluto there, this points, and we see already the decrease in natality, and this will continue. So in the next years we will have this trend that it would be less human life on Earth, and we'll have the robots most likely, but it's we don't need another war to kill people. So I don't think a war in this literal sense will happen, but some kind of conflict that would be more at intellectual and at internet level, whatever can happen, and also having more split internet, so to speak, many networks and so on. Anyway, in a way, this already happens, and this is what is basically majorly different between 1861 and 2025 in terms of astrological configuration. Now, what can we expect in the next period of time, and it's quite a long time. So do you know how long Neptune will stay in Aries? Until 2038. So this is really something for the next 13 years roughly, and it is a transit that will unfold very slowly and subtly, and this year would be a transition year. Only from 2026 we will have it completely in the sign of Aries. We would like to consider the important dates that we have this year, and the first ingress, so the first entering into the tropical Aries for Neptune will take place on 30th of March 2025. Then the next one, because it will go retrograde and then it will ingress again, so to speak, it will be on the 22nd of October, and the last one, which will be the stable one, then it will not retrograde anymore into Pisces. This will happen for the next 13 years. Actually, roughly, it will be on 26th of January 2026. So that will be the final hit, and then it would go straight into Aries. It will stay there, it will traverse the sign, and it will deliver the results accordingly. So I told you what happened in the past and what we can really see for the future. So big shifts and movements, this will be also the opportunities, these areas that I mentioned in terms of the stock market, also tokens that are related to this, that I think they will still need to be released, a lot of them, new categories that would take place, especially in the area of real world assets, so to speak. I see that and other subcategories spanning because this is linked to this entrepreneurial side of Aries, and Aries is about the real world, it's not the dreamy world of Pisces. So Neptune will get very real with very strict expectations that would be pretty calculated. Next time when Neptune will enter the sign of Aries will be in 2188. So therefore such transits really shape societies. It is really a beginning of a new era. It's also the beginning of the tropical zodiac, so we can really expect a new phase of evolution in the world. Now I promised also to give you an insight on Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, we will have a maintenance of the transit into the sidereal Pisces. So of course it enters the tropical Aries, but you know that I work with the sidereal one on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has this ninth house activated in the Vedic system, in the whole house system, and it is the house of future, so to speak, future plans, wishes. It's about divine grace, high knowledge. It's a very positive house. It's part of the Trikona houses. So again, this association with development and with a spiritual side, so to speak, that Bitcoin will be understood and the perception will really change. When Neptune will go out of the sidereal Pisces, this will be, in some time, and it is a long transit because we'll have 24 degrees difference actually. So we are at the beginning of Pisces in the sidereal zodiac. And when we reach the mid of Pisces, so around the 14th degree, the 10th degree, then we will have important developments for Bitcoin in terms of it's a good aspect, but it will be also some question marks. Okay, do we really continue like this, or we reshape the whole structure, the whole system in another way? And this will be about mass perception, because the moon in the Bitcoin chart will be involved in this transit. So people will react, will perceive Bitcoin in another way. And this is really something that will bring progress and growth for Bitcoin, and we can say that it is continuing to be a positive transit as we approach this mid of Pisces in the sidereal zodiac. The influence will get stronger and stronger until it will be exact, and this will be in a few years' time. I didn't look exactly at this, but anyway, we will give updates because Neptune moves a bit, only a few degrees each year, and we will consider that in our yearly updates from now on. But it's really good news for Bitcoin, and it will really bring opportunities to be used for Bitcoin to be used, I think, also in other areas. So a focus on use cases will be there with this transit because the underlying energy changes. So yes, it's still the sidereal zodiac, but in the tropical, it's this Aries energy, which is more practical in a way. So some new use cases, something entirely new could be really brought to the surface and Bitcoin to be used in such ways. So this is what I wanted to share with you. This was longer than envisaged, but I hope it gave you good information for the future, and I appreciate liking and subscribing. It helps the channel. Until next time, be joyful. See you.